Using a Clorox disinfecting wipe to clean that stuck-on sauce from the stove feels like...
Oh, boy. That tickles. Stop.
It feels like coming home to your needy corgi after a long day.
Best part of the day, finally.
With Clorox, clean feels carefree. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
9 años pidiendo el Snack Wrap. Aquí tienes tu Snack Wrap. ¿Tú quieres un Snack Wrap? Toma tu Snack Wrap. ¿Tú también? Toma un Snack Wrap. Snack Wrap, Snack Wrap, Snack Wrap. Volvió el Snack Wrap. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Today's top story, the flavor merger of the century between the Peanut Butter Group and Chocolatey Corp. Joining me is a PBC executive.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
Now, how did you know the merger and the byproduct of it, Jif peanut butter and chocolate flavored spread, would be a success?
You know, it was a gut feeling, a rumbling, if you will. Besides, they're two titans of taste.
Very true. Goes great with pretzels.
And pancakes.
Apples too, I bet. Try Jif PBC today.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Birds of the Round Table. Our NFL positional rankings continue. We are sticking with offense and breaking down our top 16 offensive tackles heading into training camp. Joining us, the David at PHL Eagle News. What's up, David?
What's going on, guys? I know this is going to be a banger right here. The OTs and the IOL shows, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Also joining us, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. What's good, Ryan?
Not much. Ready to talk about the big boys today.
Absolutely. And then saving the best for last, the Shane Half at Shane Half NFL on X. What's good, Shane?
What's up, Dives? Unlike these guys, I am always pumped to talk about offensive line play. So this week and next week, this is in my wheelhouse.
All right. Guys, if you're new to the show, comment, join us, give us your take on the offensive tackles heading into 2025. We've got Krabby in the house. What's going on, Krabby? We've got Little G. What's going on, Little G? Thanks for joining. Let's jump right into number 16. We're going to throw it to Shane. Lead us off, man. Who is your number 16 offensive tackle?
Yeah, number 16, I have Bernard Raymond for the Colts. He has had a really impressive development trajectory. He came into the league as a 25-year-old rookie that only had 18 career starts at the collegiate level. And I remember at the time kind of questioning the draft pick because he was such a project at such an advanced age. But he's settled in really well for the Colts. Among 64 qualifying tackles last year, and the qualification was 350 or more pass blocking snaps, he ranked 16th in pressure rate allowed at 4.2%. So it's pretty solid for a guy that was kind of a project coming in. So Bernard Raymond is number 16 for me, and I'll get it put over on our sheet here. But it looks like he's number 14 for Ryan and number 15 for David. So we've all got him up there.
Yep. Any other thoughts on Bernard Raymond, guys?
Yeah, I mean, he has the athletic profile to continue to develop. He's got functional strength. His hand placement remains a little inconsistent, but that'll probably be cleaned up. He flashes plenty of upside. I mean, once he cleans up the details, I think he probably will be higher on this list next year.
And Ryan, you have him. Why don't you like? Oh no, you're highest, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're highest at 14.
I love him apparently. No, this guy. Again, there's another guy where we'll talk about next week on the Colts here, but I just kind of looking at some of the games for the Colts. He seemed to be pretty active, pretty involved, and again, their quarterback situation is a bit of a hot mess right now, but they at least have some solid guys there on their offensive line, and Raymond is certainly one of them, and he's developing still. So I definitely like him.
All right, let's head to David and his number 16, a guy that Ryan and Shane don't have in their rankings, the Atlanta Falcons, Jake Matthews. David, talk to us about Jake Matthews.
Yeah, the 16th spot's always tough because I really don't know who to put there. I try to stay away from rookies and stay away from people who I'm speculating could be good. And Jake Matthews is just a steady vet, solid technician. He brings durability and experience. He's probably not stonewalling elite edge rushers at this stage, but he keeps your offense functional and he's reliable and about as solid as it gets year after year.
Ryan and Shane, any thoughts on Jake Matthews and why he's not on your rankings?
Yeah, I mean it's always tough, as David said. The kind of the bottom end of these lists here, there's a lot of worthy candidates. Matthews certainly is one of them. He was definitely a guy I was toying with, but yeah, I just kind of liked others a little bit better. But there's certainly no knock on Matthews.
Shane, any thoughts? Or are you good?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of the same thing. There's only so many guys you can fit in there, and Jake Matthews has been a good player for a long time. Still solid in Atlanta, just didn't quite make it into my top 16.
And then similar to Ryan, his number 16 is Paris Johnson, Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals. Talk to us about Paris Johnson, Ryan.
Yeah, I just like his development. This coming into his third year. And is the solid starting left tackle for Arizona. And yeah, I just again, I don't know. Again, just there's not a lot that, you can, obviously these guys are gonna tell you stats that are amazing. I'm not that guy. Never have been. Never will be. But I'm more of a what I see, and games that I have seen in Arizona, Paris Johnson is holding up and doing it very well. And again, heading into his third year, he's only got room to grow continuously. And I'm excited to kind of see that Arizona offense develop further, with hopefully another healthy year from Kyler.
All right, let's throw it to Shane. I feel like we should just do this back to back. He's got a pair of tackles from the Minnesota Vikings, leading off number 15, Brian O'Neill, and number 14, Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, got a solid tackle duo. Brian O'Neill, I'll start with him. I had him at number 15. I had a 3.7% pressure rate last year that ranked 11th among offensive tackles. He's a high-end athlete that thrives as a zone run blocker. So he's a good fit for the Minnesota offense. He struggles to anchor at times, especially against like bull rushes, but the Vikings have found ways to mitigate that off of their play action passing game. And so really good for zone, outside zone type stuff, good in the play action game, and a little bit of a weakness in the anchor, but they've been able to largely mitigate that so far. And so I really like him, and I like his running mate, Christian Darrisaw. He missed half the season last year with an injury. And so that's tough, and you've got to project, I'm just going to assume he'll come back off of the injury okay, but he is a very good player who's a big physical presence, and he's a smooth mover out on the perimeter. So he's not as refined in hand placement and footwork, but he's a smooth athlete. I think the Vikings got a really good tackle duo.
Nobody else had Brian O'Neill on their rankings, but Ryan, you had Christian Darrisaw all the way up to number 7.
Yeah, I really do like him. I liked him coming out of college, and again, obviously he is coming off the injury, as Shane said, but I think he'll pick up right where he left off last year, and that's continuing to be one of the better tackles in the league. So, I don't, the injury certainly doesn't sway me.
David, any final thoughts on Christian Jaroslaw?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. He's ascending fast. He just needs to stay healthy. He has elite feet, raw strength. His ceiling's an all-pro, in my opinion, if he tightens up the angles and discipline. He's very close to cracking my top 10 now, I think. Yeah, I had him 11.
Yeah. All right, number 15 for Ryan, the only Las Vegas Raider in these rankings, Colton Miller. Ryan, talk to us about Colton Miller.
Yeah, listen, everybody, kind of bashes that Las Vegas Raiders offense, but Colton Miller was certainly one of the small but bright spots of that offense, and again he's now getting a potential number one running back in Genty, and again I think this team is slowly but surely ascending, and I don't know. I think Colton Miller was one of those things that, when I was kind of going over everything, I just think he's consistent. He's solid. Ever since he came out of UCLA, he's been, pretty solid player in the league. And I don't know. I think that consistency and that veteran, leadership will help that offensive line there in Las Vegas, especially with some of the young, talented players they have in these skill positions.
Anybody have any thoughts on Colton Miller?
Yeah, I remember when he came into the league and it seemed like another Raiders reach, and that especially seemed true through the first couple of years of his career. He kind of struggled early on, but he's become a really solid player. And I didn't realize until we talk about how bad like offensive lines are in the NFL, but I didn't really realize until we did the offensive tackle exercise that there's a lot of quality starting tackles in the league. Because, I mean, he's another guy you could easily have in that conversation for, the back end of this list for me. And I still think offensive line play is not great around the league, but offensive tackle play is pretty solid for the most part.
All right, let's throw it to David and his number 14, a guy that made it to everyone's top 16, the Denver Broncos, Garrett Bowles.
Yeah, he's dominant in flashes. He's also shown to be a little penalty prone at other times, but he's a 9-year tackle. I think he's started more games at left tackle than anybody else in Broncos history. Pretty impressive guy. He's known for durability. He's a consistent performer. I don't have him as high as everybody else. I'm maybe should have had him a little higher. I don't know, but yeah, he's a very solid guy. I just he doesn't do anything that just overwhelms me, but he's always solid and good.
We have a comment from Tech. Quentin says Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts. We did our quarterback rankings, and not one of us had Herbert over Jalen Hurts.
Gross.
There's a lot of that. Whoa, Shane, go back.
Quarterback rankings.
Spoiler. Oh, there it is. I thought that was the offensive tackle rankings for a second. All right, there's our rankings.
Rings over stats.
Absolutely, winning counts. Anybody else have any thoughts on Garrett Bowles?
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. He had the best year of his career at 32 years old in 2024, kind of the breakout year. But 3.3% pressure rate, ranked 7th among offensive tackles, and he's another guy that's really progressed as a player. He's always been solid, but he's become very good. I would say he struggles a bit against like speed to power moves, but overall a really solid player. And it doesn't hurt to be in a Sean Payton offense that's going to get the ball out quick either. That enables him to alleviate some of those pressures as well.
Ryan, any thoughts on Bowles?
Yeah, I've certainly been a big fan of his since he came into the league. Back in 2017, he just signed a 4-year, $82 million extension, pretty much guaranteeing that he'll be a Bronco for life. Yeah, I think, again, when he started, it took him a little while to kind of figure it out. And then, 2020, it kind of had a breakout year, and, he's been kind of ascending ever since. And yeah, he just continues to get better. Seems like every year. And hence why Denver thought so highly of him to give him $42 million of that guaranteed. So that says something to me.
We have Brandon chiming in saying, nice of you to leave the top O-line spots for the Texans players. Spoiler warning, we're not talking Texans tonight. Shane,
not a single one.
Not a single one.
If we talked some former Texans later tonight that they got rid of because they were too good for their offensive line.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shane, number 13, Joe Alt. Talk about Joe Alt.
Yep, I've got Joe Alt at number 13. 3.7% pressure rate last year, which ranked 12th among tackles. And he started the year a little rough, and he ended the year with a tough performance in the playoffs against Houston. And so that's a tough way to end the season, tough way to go out. But week in and week out, he was very good for the Chargers in his rookie season. This is a guy that I loved in the draft coming out. And I'm not going to let one playoff game in his rookie season really taint that for me. So I think he was awesome as a rookie, and I expect big things from him going forward.
David, you were the highest on Joel by one spot. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he was drafted to protect the quarterback mentioned by some commenter a few minutes ago, Justin Herbert's blind side, for a decade. I mean, his college tape just screams how great he is. But he came into the NFL, and NFL edge speed is a different type of beast, and he had some growing pains, but his ceiling is undeniable. He's one of the best out of college, and he'll probably steadily climb this list for the next few seasons.
Brian?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, David. Obviously he, started a little rocky. He was mostly exclusively a left tackle at Notre Dame, and I thought honestly did fairly well switching to right tackle to start his NFL career. And he just continued to kind of, progress throughout the year. I think his just knowing that the type of worker he is and just his overall strength, I don't see how he isn't continually, moving up this list.
Reddit clip says the Texans are an existential mission to make CJ Stroud's life as difficult as possible. I love it. Let's roll on to David's number 13, Spencer Brown of the Bills.
Yeah, massive frame, improved footwork. He's susceptible to counters, but he quietly turned a corner in Buffalo, in my opinion. He still needs to show more against elite competition for me to have him higher on the list. But yeah, I like what he did last year, and I think he is built to succeed more than he has so far.
Shane?
Yeah, 3.5% pressure rate, which was 9th among offensive tackles last year. And he did struggle through the first few years of his career, but he turned in a really good 2024 season where I felt like he took a big leap. He committed way too many penalties. He had 17 flags thrown on him last season, and that's way too much, and he's got to cut that down. But that's really the lone stain on him. I think he's a really good up-and-comer. And
then, Ryan, why do you hate Spencer Brown?
You're loving this, aren't you?
Oh, this is great.
Listen. It's not that I hate. It's just he's one of those guys that just kind of was in that 17, 18, 19 range where I thought there were a lot of good tackles and just didn't make the cut for me. But I think he kind of gets overshadowed sometimes by his tackle mate that we'll be talking about shortly. But again, just didn't make my list.
All right. Let's stick with you, Ryan, man. Who is your number 12?
My number 12 is Taylor Moton. This is a guy that has been in Carolina his whole career. And except for last year, basically played every snap except for his rookie year. It's just, captain consistency. He's, a guy that honestly is just the anchor on that offensive line. And I'm sure Shane and David will probably give you some fun stats, but again, my eye test tells me that he does a great job of protecting Bryce Young and on the right hand side, and yeah, I had to have him on this list.
Shane?
Yeah, 2.6% pressure rate, which was third among tackles last season. He's well-rounded as a run blocker and a pass blocker. He's been consistently good at right tackle for the Panthers through a lot of really bad years. And Ryan mentioned just his reliability. He had started 104 consecutive games for the Panthers before he missed 3 games throughout last season with triceps and knee injuries. And so even though he had some of those injury things going on, he was elite last year at the right tackle position. So he ended up at number 10 for me. Really, really good player.
David, any thoughts?
Yeah, he's the unsung hero of Carolina's front. He's dependable, thick through the core, difficult to move. He lacks the flash of some of the others that'll be higher on this list, but he stacks solid reps with consistency, availability, and NFL teams win with linemen like him, so I'm a fan.
Brandon wants us to throw in guys from the 2025 draft class, but I'm not doing it tonight. I'm usually the idiot that adds rookies on these lists. But Ryan, let's throw it to you. Number 11, you went with Andrew Thomas of the New York freaking Giants.
Yeah. Listen, as much as I hate putting a rival player on here, Thomas just, has kind of had a rough go the last couple of years, missing time in 2023 and last year. Also, I think in 2022 as well. But anyway, still, he grades really high pass blocking among all offensive tackles. And honestly, I think it's really just kind of a matter of the injury and staying healthy for the Giants. I think this is a guy that can absolutely be a top tackle in this league, and you just got to stay healthy, honestly. And he's certainly going to have his opportunity with the quarterback situation in New York with Russell Wilson or maybe Jameis Wilson, Jameis Winston towards the end of the year. But either way, Andrew Thomas is just skill wise, he's a machine.
Shane, you had him all the way up at number 6.
Yeah, Andrew Thomas is an awesome player. And I thought, a few years ago that he would be in, contention for one of the best tackles in the league, like the number 1-2 spot somewhere up there. And unfortunately, he's had his last 2 seasons cut short by injury. And so that's made it hard. He's also had a dumpster fire around him, but he had a nagging hamstring injury that made him miss 7 games in 2023. And then he sprained his MCL a couple weeks later, and then he had a Lindsfrank injury last season that made him miss week 7 on. And so his last healthy season was 2022, and he had a 3.3% pressure rate, which would have ranked 7th on this 2024 list. I think he's an awesome player, and hopefully he's able to get healthy and stay healthy, because he was on an awesome trajectory a few years ago that's kind of been derailed by injuries.
Did not play against the Birds last year. David, any final thoughts on Andrew Thomas?
Yeah, like everybody mentioned, injuries have stalled his ascent and, quite frankly, his career thus far. But when Thomas is upright, he is an all-pro caliber tackle. Smooth, smart. The only question is durability.
Yep. All right, let's roll on to Ryan's number 10, and that is Dion Dawkins of the Buffalo Bills, who we are all high on. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I love him coming out of Temple, obviously, local Temple grad there, Dion Dawkins. But this guy is 100% the reason why Josh Allen isn't in the hospital probably in most games, just given the his running around. But he was 16th among tackles grading out pass blocking with an 81.2. Had a lot of penalties last year for whatever reason, but that is normally not the case. So I'm certainly kind of thinking that'll kind of flip and go back to normal this upcoming season. So I think given that and, given that, another year, I think Deion Dawkins is easily a top 10 tackle in this league.
David, any thoughts?
Yeah, he's the long time bouncer over there, rugged, versatile, available. He may not be elite like in any one category, but he's reliable across the board, and that's hard to find.
Shane?
Yeah, he's really improved over the last couple seasons and is probably coming off the best year of his career. His biggest issue is still that he's penalty prone. He's had double-digit penalties in 3 of the last 4 years, and the 1 year that he didn't, he still had 9. So penalties have been an issue. He struggled a little bit with down-to-down consistency, but he ranked 10th among tackles last year in pressure rate.
All right, sticking with Shane. The first Eagle gets a nod here at number 9, Jordan Mailata. Go ahead.
If you hadn't said the name, I was going to be like, yeah, I've got Lane Johnson. Jordan Mailata obviously has impressive quickness at his size. He is strong as an ox in the run game. He's still a work in progress in pass protection against more technical pass rushers. You can't bull rush the guy. And he's got all the athleticism, but I mean, we all know his story being late to football, and there's still some technical things he can work on, but he overcomes a lot of those admittedly minor deficiencies with his outstanding athleticism. He had a 3.8% pressure rate last year that ranked 13th. I know PFF has like some crazy stats and grades on Mailata, and I think they are overinflating him. And obviously Eagles fans will run with that, but just incredible that this guy went from never playing football before to being drafted and being a top 10 tackle in the league. And I guess I'm lower on him than Ryan and David. They've both got him at 4, but he sits at number 9 for me right now.
Also an amazing personality on the field. David, any thoughts on Jordan?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite story on this list. What began as a rugby experiment has evolved into the most overwhelming physical presence in the NFL. He's a mountain of a man, nimble feet, improved hand usage. Like Shane mentioned, he's still growing and learning, but he's also underrated.
Shane? Ryan?
I'm Ryan.
My bad.
It's okay. Listen, it's hard not to root for this guy. You look at the size of him, and if you've ever actually been in a room with him or stood next to him, you truly realize the size of this guy. I'm 6'3", and man, I felt like a kid standing next to him. And the fact of the matter is, he's that tall, he's that agile, and he's just so powerful. He routinely throws edge players onto the ground and just sits on them. He easily is one of the best stories here for sure.
It irritates me. It irritates me that he can also sing. Nobody should be able to be that multi-talented.
And he's just
I would
nice
like to take
too.
Jordan Mailata's singing ability. Thank you.
Generally nice person too.
The moment of him laughing when Saquon was going for that big run, so good. So good.
He recently performed with one of those country singers, Chris Stapleton.
No way.
And he absolutely killed it. Stapleton backed off the stage and just let him go at it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, look that up if you haven't seen it. It's pretty incredible.
Brandon chimes in. Jets have a lot of new O-line prospects. Hopefully that turf doesn't get to them.
Love that.
Brett Eclipse says, has anyone seen the graphic where it's tackle pass blocking grade by island rate and it's just Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata alone in an abyss? That's awesome. All right, let's roll on to Ryan's number 9, and that is Laramie Tunsil of the Washington Commanders. That feels weird saying. Go ahead, Ryan.
It really does. I also feel like you're going to me every time. Listen, Laramie Tunsil has certainly had himself a hot and cold career. Obviously, starting with the gas mask at draft day, dropping down so that Houston can grab him. Took a little bit for him to kind of really get his feet under him. I think they originally started him at left guard before he moved to left tackle, but A few short years after that, it was pretty much Pro Bowl every year. In fact, the only year he didn't get Pro Bowl, he was hurt in 2021. So Washington certainly has themselves a legit stud, on the tackle position there. Again, who knows how that's going to work, but you have a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. You want to go ahead and protect him as much as you can. And yeah, I was not happy to see Laramie Tunsil now in Commander Red or whatever the heck we're calling it.
Shane, you had him at 5.
Yeah, Tunsil was the one constant thing for a Houston offensive line that was a disaster last year. 3.1% pressure rate, which was 5th among tackles. He's a dominant pass blocker who has improved a lot as a run blocker too. Houston moving on from him was probably the dumbest move that any team made this offseason. And I don't get it. They said he didn't fit the culture in the room. The culture in the room is crappy blocking ability, so I guess that's true. But that never made any sense, and Washington got a great one, unfortunately.
David, any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, he's one of the league's premier pass protectors. He glides in space. He rarely loses one-on-one. Like Shane mentioned, he's not as consistent in the run game, but he has improved. But his mirror match ability against speed rushers is top tier, man. It's really fun to watch.
All right. That is Laramie Tunsil. Going to number 7 on Shane's end, it is Rashawn Slater. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, he played through a nagging pectoral injury last season, and he still only allowed a 4.4% pressure rate, which was 18th among tackles. Injuries have been an issue for Slater. He tore a bicep early in 2022, played through multiple high ankle sprains in 2023, played through the pec injury in 2024. And so durability is obviously a concern with him, but if you're just looking at the talent, Rashawn Slater is a premier tackle in the league. And it is kind of crazy. Like, I was looking at my list. I've got 2 Vikings, 2 Bills, I've got 2 Chargers, and obviously I've got 2 Eagles on the list. So 4 of my top 16 are duos for a team. You can kind of tell some teams just prioritize the offensive line.
Yeah. David, any thoughts on Slater?
Yeah, he exhibits like perfect posture, good recovery skills. When healthy, smooth. He's like a technician in pass sets. He rarely penalized. It's just durability, and I guess we all have him 6 and 7, and that might look low next year if he plays to his potential and doesn't get hurt this season.
Ryan?
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is a guy that's, been in the league for 4 years, and half the time he's been a Pro Bowler, including his rookie year and last year. So, again, in one of those years he was hurt. So it's a pretty good start to a career, that's for sure. But, he's just so dominant. And the fact that they went out last year and drafted Joe Alt to kind of, get that other bookend, as Shane said, shows that they prioritize that, and they have a great duo in LA.
All right, we've officially approached our top 5, leading off with David Trent Williams of the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit it, but the dude's a highlight reel waiting to happen. He's violent, just nasty finishing ability. I think we've all seen that firsthand against the Eagles. He's a tone setter and still among the game's best when healthy. I probably dinged him slightly more than the others, maybe because of his age. I do expect a slight regression at some point, but the tape from last year is still first round, top 5, nasty OT tape, man. He's a beast.
Shane, you had him at number 3.
Yeah, he's 37. And he's coming off an ankle injury that ended his season. So that is concerning. But he's just a phenomenal player. One of the best pass blockers in the NFL. He's also an incredible run blocker. And he had a down year last year as he battled injury. 4.5% pressure rate that was 20th. But if he comes back off of that, and if he plays at the level he did pre-injury, he's just a phenomenal player. And time's going to catch up with him eventually, and maybe it already has, and maybe this is too high, but until I know that for sure, he's going to stay up here as one of the best tackles in the league.
Ryan, any thoughts?
Yeah, listen, it's incredibly hard to root for this guy, being that he was a Washington Redskin for all those years, and then obviously San Fran. He just on the field, he comes across as an a-hole, honestly. But it's that attitude that makes him such a great tackle. He does not F with anybody. You come near his quarterback, he is absolutely tearing you apart. Last year was the first year he wasn't named Pro Bowl in 11 straight years. The guy is just consistently one of the best tackles in football. And I literally hate saying it with every fiber of my being. I hate saying it. But yeah, he's amazing.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at Polestar.com.
Brett Eclipse chimes in saying Trent Williams is also top 5 in nasty on the field behavior. Shane, lead us off with your number 4.
Yeah, my number 4 is Penei Sewell. And Penei Sewell's just awesome. And he's a great run blocker. He's a very good pass protector. Ultimately, pass blocking is a little more important, but you're nitpicking here. And he's a tier 1 offensive tackle in the NFL. He did have a 4.4% pressure rate last year, and that ranked 18th. So it's a little lower on the list for a guy that is up this high. But he's the total package. He's a dominant player. He's an ascending player. Awesome player. And no, not better than Lane Johnson.
Ryan, any thoughts on Sewell?
Nice way to throw that in there, Shane. I'm sure you won't get about 8,000 angry tweets later. But listen, Penei Sewell again has been a model of consistency at the highest end since he came into the league from Oregon. I think projecting his career, he certainly will go down as probably the greatest tackle in Detroit Lions history, and that's certainly saying something. Sewell just dominates the line. Rarely do you ever see him get beat, and if he ever does, his recovery skills are top notch. So Penei Sewell is easily one of the best tackles in the league.
David, any thoughts on Sewell before we move on?
Yeah, he plays like a brick wall, man. He blends power and polish, and to be able to do that at such a young age is a rare feat. I mean, he's dominant in space. He punishes in the run game. He's reliable in pass protection. I think the Lions struck gold with that pick, quite honestly. he will likely be a perennial All-Pro for many years to come.
Sticking with David, who's your number 3, man?
Tristan Wirfs. And the only reason I actually had him higher, I had him above Penny, but he likely is going to miss the first 4 games. And since this is only based on 2025, I knocked him down. I was going to knock him down more, but he's just too damn good to do that too. He's a technician, man, with vice grip hands. He exudes rare balance. His transition to left tackle was seamless, which is a testament to his freaky footwork. He's just as dominant as it comes, and it's hard to match. I mean, he's just an amazing player. And to be that good this quick is just unreal.
Shane, any thoughts on Wirfs? And we have a comment here from Brett Eclipse saying, why does media say, Trent or Sewell are better than Lane Johnson?
I can go on both of those. Let me talk about Wirfs first. Wirfs was a phenomenal right tackle for a few years. And then the Bucs moved him to left tackle in 2023. And I thought that was a mistake. Why would you move a guy that's elite on the right side? And he allowed a 3% pressure rate in 2023 on the left side, which, if you've heard me give pressure rates, that's really good, but it was the worst year of his career. Last season, he bounced back majorly. He allowed only a 2% pressure rate, which was the best in the NFL. And honestly, I really toyed with putting him number 1 on the list. I legitimately think he's that good. But Lane has done it for longer, and so I let that be my tiebreaker. But Wirfs is just incredible, and he's proven he can do it on both sides, which right side versus left side doesn't matter that much, but that versatility is even more impressive. As for the Lane Johnson thing, I mean, Trent Williams is phenomenal. And he plays the left side, and he's plays the left side, and he's done it for longer than Lane, and so I get the Trent Williams aspect of it if he's not injured. The Penei Sewell thing is just that he's a young up-and-comer, honestly. And I think that's all there is to it, that you get fatigue with certain guys just always being the best, and Penei Sewell is the new guy that's the up-and-comer, and so people want to knock Lane Johnson off the perch, and it's just not time yet.
And then that leads us, no shocker, number 1, Ryan Lane the Legend Johnson. Go ahead, man.
Who? Wait, who? No. Listen, Lane Johnson is, might just go down as the greatest right tackle in NFL history. He went, and I'm not exaggerating, about 17 years in a row without giving up a sack. Just, again, no exaggeration. It just literally seemed like forever. And again, he is smart. He is constantly outworking everybody around him. And he is 100%, the reason why the Eagles perennially have the best offensive line. It's because of his leadership. He easily took that over from, with Kelsey when he left, and has mentored Mailata in such a way that obviously he is high on our list as well. But, he is stronger than most coming at him. He is quicker than most coming at him. And he does this all while, being very effective in the run game as well. So, it's just the fact that he is this old and still just dominating. Again, obviously there will be a time where it starts to drop off, but I don't predict that to be this year.
David, what are your thoughts on Lane?
Yeah, he's still the gold standard. I mean, Ryan mentioned he's 34 years old, but Lane just stated that he felt like he's in his prime right now. I mean, which is just insane. His technique is pristine. His anchor is unshakable. Nobody neutralizes edge threats like he does. He remains the model for what a modern right tackle should be: athletic, nasty, and impossible to beat.
Shane?
Yeah, he just doesn't lose. He's one of the best pass protectors in the NFL, along with Trent Williams, Laramie Tunsil, Tristan Wirfs. but he's also a weapon in the run game with his athleticism in a way some of those guys aren't. He had a 2.4% pressure rate allowed last year, which was second among tackles behind only worse. And I mean, he plays the position in a way you're not supposed to be able to. Like, he gives so much ground and invites rushers into his chest in a way that you're not supposed to do. But he's so strong that he's able to still lock down, and he's just buying himself more time, making you show your hand and throw your move because he knows you can't rush through his chest anyways. That combination of strength and athleticism is rivaled by nobody, really, and it's part of what's made him so good for so long.
We have a comment from Brandon. Does he have a case for being the best Eagle ever? Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I think when you actually look at it, and again, I know offensive line isn't sexy. It's it's not not a skill position. It's not Brian Dawkins, right? Crawling out the tunnel. But I think when you look at it and you look at his impact, the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles have pretty much been a playoff team for majority of Lane Johnson's career is because he is the anchor to that offensive line, and that offensive line has been dominant. And I think, like I said, I think he could easily go down as the best right tackle of all time, mostly because, everybody goes left. But, yeah, I think he easily could be best Eagle ever.
I think there's absolutely a conversation.
Yeah.
There's, like, in my opinion, when you look at, Jason.
I don't think there's much of a conversation.
Okay.
It's him.
When we did our Eagles, what was that called? A draft of the best Eagles of all time, Mount Rushmore. Kelsey was up there, and Lane Johnson's at that same tier, in my opinion. Shane, go ahead.
There's a difference between fan favorite and greatest of all time. The Kelsey, certainly is one of those fan favorite. Obviously, Brian Dawkins, fantastic Eagle, insanely talented. The drive of I don't know, whatever. But I think he's more fan favorite than anything because of the way he played. But I think Lane Johnson, being that he's not this open and this personable person like Kelsey, even though he can be at times, I think is what maybe doesn't have him high on that list of fan favorite. But I think skill wise and his impact on the league at the time and his rank in the league at the time, I think he easily is in the conversation for greatest of all time.
Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I mean, you can throw Kelsey out there. Kelsey's awesome, but Kelsey was a center, and it's just not as impactful of a position. His story's better, coming as a late pick and being a gold standard at a position for a long time. He didn't have that pedigree, but it's Lane Johnson. He's the greatest Eagle of all time, in my opinion, and I don't think it's super close, to be honest. I mean, Reggie White's up there. It's Reggie White and Lane Johnson is the conversation.
Just to play devil's advocate, I think in like 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're going to look back at this era of the tush push.
Sure.
And Kelsey's face is like literally center of that. So
that's the fan favorite component.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
that Ryan was talking about.
Yeah,
he's the guy with the podcast. He's the personable guy that's the face of everything, and so people are going to remember Kelsey for sure. Especially because he's going to have whatever media empire he starts by then. Kelsey Studios is going to be putting out Marvel movies or something in 20 years. But in terms of impact on the field, I think it's got to be Lane or Reggie White.
I think you could throw Chuck Bednarik in there. Just again, given the fact that he played in a different era and it was what it was, but. Yeah, I mean you're not wrong there. As much as we all love Jason Kelsey, I don't think anybody in their right mind would put him as the best offensive line in
David, any
on
thoughts
that
before we
offensive
wrap
line.
this up?
Yeah, I mean, just let the numbers speak for themselves. Over the last 10 years, the Eagles have I think it's a 700 winning percentage with Lane on the team that day, and a 300% without. So They win 70% of the time when he's on the field, 30% of the time when he's not. I think that tells you almost everything you need to know.
Text says Kelsey and Reggie. Brett Eclipse chimes in. Would you take Lane over Jason Peters if you were to do an all-time Eagles draft?
Yeah.
I think that's a slam dunk, yes. And I love Jason Peters. Brandon chimes in, says Reggie's a good choice. All right, let's wrap it up. That is our top 16 offensive tackle ranking heading into 2025. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know down in the comments. Let's throw it around the horn before we close shop. David, final thoughts, plugs, Tom's yours, man.
Yeah, you can follow everything I do at PHL Eagle News. I released a piece today in regards to Jalen Hurts. You can find that on my X account or at PHL Eagle News or at phillysportsnetwork.com. But just keep supporting this, and we're almost there, man. We have a few more of these, but sprinkled in with the next few rankings will be training camp talk. So, I mean, it's July 22nd. We're a week away, man. It's incredible.
Literally the title of this show, or on the graphic, 1 week away. We're so close. Shane, final thoughts, plugs, Tom's yours.
I don't know how we're going to do these shows and talk about training camp because these shows are already an hour long. I don't know how that's going to work, but we might have to do 2 a week or something. But
no context, just names.
Just names. Just put the list up and talk about training camp. Just keep it plugged in on the Eagles Pinpool Network. Johnny and I are going to be recording tomorrow morning at 11:30-ish with Ollie Connolly, and we're going to be going through kind of the state of the Eagles in 2025 and some Jalen Hurts talk and some league-wide trend stuff. And so I think that'll be a really cool show. If you've never followed any of his work, you can check him out on Twitter. But really excited to have him on, and just keep it plugged in here for all the other stuff we're going to have coming out throughout the next few weeks.
Steve chimes in saying sleeping on third-year Paris Johnson Jr., not Ryan Reese, who had him number 16 in his rankings. Krabby says, good show as always. Appreciate it, man. All right. Brandon says, needed this after the Paul George news. Don't even get me started. We're not even going to go there. All right. Ryan, final thoughts, plugs, Tom George.
Well, I can't wait to Google the Paul George news. That'll be fun laugh for me. Listen, if you guys already are not following everybody else on this show, please do yourself a favor. Make sure you're also following Eagles Pinpool. So many great shows. Again, we're in the off season, man. We're just we're biding our time until the season, because that's when everything blows up here. So please make sure you're following us, especially on YouTube. Give it a follow, and make sure you support everybody here. Share it with everybody. That's how we grow, and that's how we get out to the people.
All right. Right after this will be the debut episode of Party on Broad on Eagles Pinpool. So we are talking Jalen Hurts, what steps he can take in 2025 to improve, and some of the most underrated aspects of Jalen Hurts' skill set that nobody talks about. We're going to be chiming in on that, talking more off the radar, under the radar players that we think can take the next step, that are underrated weapons on offense and defense. And then I've got an Eagles 5-pack. We're going to focus on some entertainment things. And Ryan and Rob have no idea what that is, and I think it's going to be hilarious. So be on lookout for that right after this show. We are going live. He is David at PHL Eagle News. That's interesting. It's different than StreamYard.
You can mirror your display if you want to.
I got so good at that over the years.
So you got to point the right way.
That's Shane Half at Shane Half NFL. Oh, this is a problem. Ryan at Philly Sports PSA. I am Dives, Mr. Crackpot. One more week, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.